Hey everybody, how is it going? Welcome back to my channel and to another stock market update. Haven't done a video in several days, so I thought I would do a little bit of an update and give you my thoughts on the current market situation and what I am seeing and what I plan on doing. But we're going to start off with the QQQs like I always do, and this of course is the ETF for the NASDAQ. In my last video, I believe the market was right around here, and I talked about buying some puts in the market because I thought we were going to get a decent sized pullback. Ended up getting just a very shallow pullback, barely eclipsed the 8-period exponential moving average before moving back up. I ended up buying the $41 call for the SQQQ, and the SQQQ is the triple inverted ETF for the NASDAQ. It's probably my favorite instrument to play when I think we're going to get a little bit of a pullback in the market. I like to play the SQQQ call options if I think the market's going down, and the TQQQ call options if I think the market is going up. Just buying call options or puts on the QQQ itself are quite spendy. The SQQQ and the TQQQ are much cheaper, and I'm sure that's what those things were made for, just for short-term traders trying to capitalize on short-term moves. You never want to buy the SQQQ and just hold on to it. You just want to play that in the short term. But anyway, you can see we had a little bit of a pullback here. I actually thought we were going to get down to about the 314 area. I ended up taking a little bit of profit off the table once it got down to the 8-period exponential moving average. So I bought those call options at 71 cents. Ended up selling half of them at $1.04. Held on to the second half, but we had this big gap up, and most of the premium was wiped because these options actually expired yesterday, so there wasn't much time on them. But once we got that gap up, it pretty much wiped out the premium on the rest that I was holding. I held on to the rest thinking that, or actually hoping that we might get a little bit more of a pullback, but I probably should have gotten what I could have on this day right here, because I ended up just holding on to them and they expired worthless, unfortunately. But hey, that's the way it goes. I ended up losing a little bit of money on that trade, but that was just a hedge trade. If the market turned around and went higher, I was going to make more money on my longs in my portfolio, and that's exactly what happened. But looking at the current market environment, I am thinking that we're probably going to find some rather heavy resistance up here right around the 200-period simple moving average. You can see we have this resistance from before back in April. There's a lot of the indicators are really starting to get overbought and a little bit long in the tooth, just like this rally has. You can see we're breaking out to a new high, and the MACD is barely getting into new high territory. So this is kind of telling me that, the market's getting a little bit tired here. I'm not saying that the summer rally is going to be completely over, but I bet we get a little bit bigger of a pullback once we get up to this 200-period simple moving average. Another one that I like to look at is the stochastic, and you can see the stochastic indicator here is starting to make a little bit of a rounded top. You could also argue that we're making a little bit of a rising wedge formation as well, and these tend to break out to the downside. So just another indicator that's making me think it's probably time to start watching to get short again, and I'll probably end up buying just call options on the SQQQ. Looking at the weekly chart, let me flip over to that really quick. We can see the MACD is moving up in a very strong manner, so this tells you that the trend overall is looking pretty darn good, but we're also getting closer to this resistance area as well. So I think there's a lot of reasons to maybe get a little bit worried if we can inch up just a little bit higher on the QQQ. But let me stay on the QQQ for a second. One of the reasons why I thought the market was also going to turn around last time, if you remember, I thought we were going to hit this purple line right here, the 30-period simple moving average, and then have a pretty decent pullback all the way down to that 8-period exponential moving average. That's why this was going to be my main target. But as you can see, we didn't quite make it there before we had that big reversal. So, I think there is a lot of I wouldn't say a ton of bullish sentiment in the market, but I think it's really starting to pick up some momentum to the upside, and some other people are really starting to jump on board to this summer rally. So I think this thing could end up moving a little bit longer than a lot of people think. Let me get the rest of this junk out of here. But let's jump over to the SPY, or the S&P 500. You can see the S&P 500 came up to that resistance area. This was on from my last video, so you can see it hit that resistance area and didn't have the biggest pullback as the Qs, but it couldn't even break that 8-period exponential moving average. Just found support there and then blasted off again. So the spider is also getting close to that 200-period simple moving average, even though it does still look very strong. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the DIA. You can see the diamonds is already pushing up to that 200-period simple moving average. So a lot of these things are starting to get into some pretty strong resistance areas. Let's jump over to the IWM, or the Russell. You can see the Russell is already blasted through it, and I think this is a fantastic sign for a a reason for the summer rally to continue. Now, I'm not saying that the summer rally is going to be over. I just expect some pretty heavy resistance once the NASDAQ gets up there towards that 200-period simple moving average. Now, let's take a look at the VIX. I'll jump down here. If we look at the VIX, we can see that the VIX has been in a little bit of a channel, and when it gets up to these high areas in the mid to upper 30s, it tends to be a good time to buy because you end up getting a rally. But once it gets down, here was another area right here that I didn't really circle. But once it gets down here towards 20, you can see it's usually a pretty good time to start lightening up on your stocks. And we just got down there again this week, so this is another thing that makes me a little worried. We could be overbought in the short term. I think if we get a halfway decent size reversal in the VIX, the market itself could be in a very big trouble. But of course, this is just going to reflect a decent pullback in the market. But this is another indicator that I am watching that's making me a little bit worried at the moment. But let's jump over to the all-important oil contract, the USO, the ETF for oil. I was thinking that the oil ETF was going to not only touch that 200, but probably break down below it by a little bit, and that didn't happen, at least not yet. But it looks like oil is trying to carve out a bottom here. We got a little bit of a double bottom going on, and it jumped back above the 8-period exponential moving average. And if this thing can break above this pivot point right here, right around 77 and a quarter, I don't know. I mean, maybe the short-term bottom for oil is in, and it's not going to end up breaking that 200-period simple moving average after all. I've been looking at a bunch of oil stocks, and a lot of them have been very strong over the last week or so. So, there is a lot of people out there that are saying the oil market is going to be undersupplied for quite a while, and this could be just people jumping in and buying this dip, waiting for that next move up. So I'm going to be watching oil very closely just to see if we can end up, breaking above that pivot point and starting to move up. If that happens, I'm going to start adding to my oil stocks a little bit more. But that hasn't happened yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now I want to show you some stocks that I think are looking pretty darn good at the moment, and they are the Bitcoin miners. I mean, some of these charts are looking pretty dynamite at the moment. Let me start with the one that I have a position in. I'm still holding some CleanSpark. You can see CleanSpark. I could probably get all of these lines off the chart right now. But if we look at CleanSpark, we can see it's starting to make a very nice rounded bottom. Broke above this resistance area right around 5 1/4. Jumped above the 8-period exponential moving average. Had a big reversal candle. Once I saw this, I got a little bit worried, but we had another reversal on Friday. But, looking at the rest of the Bitcoin mining stocks, I think there's some momentum really starting to build up into these. And I would expect these things to be pretty decent trades over the next couple of weeks. Another one is Hut 8 Mining. You see Hut 8 Mining starting to explode. Bitcoin itself has just been kind of melting up. I think it's right around 24.5 at the moment, 24,500 US dollars at the moment. But I don't know, looking at that Bitcoin chart, I can't pull up Bitcoin on this platform, unfortunately, but looking at the Bitcoin chart, nothing really too exciting. I mean, it looks like it's just kind of melting up slowly. If it does start to accelerate to the upside, then I expect these Bitcoin miners to really start cooking, and that might happen rather soon in the price of Bitcoin, because it looks like there's starting to be some pretty decent sized positions build up in these Bitcoin miners. Next one I want to go over is Mara. I talked about this one in my last video. I said if we could, break above this little flag we got going right here, we could really start to accelerate, and that's what's happening with Mara. Let's take a look at Riot. You can see Riot looking good as well. I mean, when you see these little melting up trends like this, and then they really start to accelerate, that's the time when I really like to start trading these stocks, when they look like they have the highest probability of really taking off. That's when I like to get on in these and try to make some quick money, some short-term trades on these. But I like to see this little melting up consolidation, and then boom, a little bit of a breakout, and then some bigger ranging candles, and that's what we're starting to see in some of these. Another one is Bitfarms. Bitfarms are really starting to explode to the upside. So once they start making patterns like this, where they're melting up and then they start to explode, I like to buy those pullbacks on the intraday charts if I can catch them. Another one is SDIG. This is the one I believe Bill Miller has a position in. He's one of my favorite investors to follow. And this one looks like it's making a little bit of a rounded bottom after this gap up. So a lot of momentum building in this one. Another stock that I have been trading is Vroom. Vroom is the competitor for Carvana, but it's been stuck in this little bit of a channel. Had that huge explosion out of it, and then it came out with some news that the market didn't like at all, but it got back down to this channel, which I was talking to my Patreons about, and ended up moving up pretty decently after hitting the bottom of that channel. Now it's back up over $2 a share, so really nice chart for Vroom. One of my favorite stocks right now, what I wish I owned more of, is Cheniere Energy. I started buying a Cheniere right in here, added some more at the 200 period simple moving average. I thought for sure it was going to break it, roll over a little bit more and maybe get down into the 110 area. And that's when I really wanted to buy more, but that did not happen at all. This thing just exploded higher, and it's been breaking into new highs. These guys are going to be supplying Europe with their natural gas, or at least a bunch of it going forward, since Europe is not doing much business with Russia. That creates a huge opportunity for LNG, and I think that the fact that this is moving up right now, a lot of people are trying to, front run this stock before we get into those winter months when the demand for natural gas, really goes up. But I really love the chart on LNG. Wish I owned more of it, but hey, it is what it is. And last one I want to talk about is this company called Bark. Oops, that is not it at all. BARK is the symbol. This is a very interesting company. They send dog treats and dog toys to your door, but I have just been noticing tons and I live out in the middle of nowhere, by the way, and I've been noticing tons and tons of people buying this product. It's a monthly subscription, and they send you the toy of the month. It's to send you a box full of toys and treats and, I don't know, something else. I'm actually thinking about ordering it for us. But I just cannot believe how many people I see using this product. I mean, the stock has fallen all the way down from right around $20 a share. I haven't bought any yet. I started noticing it about 2 months ago, or around me anyway. And I was looking at the stock, and I was like, I need to grab some at $1.50. And if it goes lower, just add more, because it just seems like more and more people around me are really starting to use this product. So in the cities, I bet, tons of people are using this product. I just went to Walmart today and I bought some dog treats for my dog, and I spent like over $35 just on 2 bags of treats. Now, they were bigger size bags, but their cheapest product is about $30 a month if you subscribe for a whole year. So, I mean, you could easily spend that much just on treats. So, I don't know. I think a lot of people like this product and this service, and I think it's pretty interesting. And once I looked at it, I was like, nobody is going to be subscribing to this. But once I jumped on their website and looked around, I almost bought it, and I probably am going to end up, buying a year's worth of this just to see, how it ends up working out. But I just wanted to show you guys this company. I think it's very interesting. I think it's worth taking another look at. The amount of money that people are spending on their dogs is increasing every year. The dog is becoming more and more a part of the family. I know I really wasn't that you know, I wouldn't say into dogs, but dogs weren't as important to me years and years ago, and now it just seems like we go everywhere with the dog, and a lot of people are like that. So this industry is still projected to have some serious growth for the next 10 years and beyond. So I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know anything about this company. A lot of people look at stocks like Chewy, and actually Bark is probably going to be profitable after this year. It's looking like, and I don't know if this thing continues to gain traction. This might be one of those 10x stocks. You know, I can definitely see this thing making it back up into the teens in several years or so. But just wanted to show you guys that one before I ended the video. Definitely look into that one further before you buy into it. They are not profitable yet, but I don't know, interesting company to say the least. But anyway, rambled on long enough. If you guys see any decent looking charts in the market, and there are a lot of them right now, so make sure you let me know about them in the comment section. You know how the market is. It's either usually feast or famine, and right now seems like there's a lot of nice looking charts in the market. But I'm going to end it right here. Thank you for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.